They told him he'd never be loved, that he was just another lost black boy with no future, no family, and no worth. But what they didn't know was that destiny had eyes, and those eyes were watching him even when he thought no one cared. This is not just a story, it's a reckoning, a storm, a complete reversal of power. And it all begins in a dim, cold house where hope went to die. But before we unveil this story, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss out on this type of story. His name was KJ, 7 years old, quiet, sharp, and slowly disappearing inside himself. Every day felt like a punishment. Lorraine, the foster mom, made sure of that. "You're lucky I even let you sleep under my roof," she'd hiss, flicking her cigarette, as her own kids ate hot meals while KJ sat in the corner with stale cereal. "Nobody wants boys like you. You're a burden. You're a bill. That's all." And she'd say it with a smirk, like she enjoyed watching him shrink. She didn't hit him often, not physically, but her words, they bruised deeper. "You think someone's gonna adopt you? Please. You ain't nothing but skin and sadness." The other kids joined in, laughed at him, spat in his shoes, hid his notebooks, called him names they didn't even understand. And KJ, he didn't cry, not once, because even tears felt useless. School wasn't better. Teachers looked through him. Classmates avoided him, except one, Miss Riley, a literature teacher, mid-20s, afro pulled tight, fire in her voice. One day she sat beside him after class. "You like stories?" she asked. He nodded, barely. "You ever think maybe your life could be one too?" He didn't answer, but something shifted, just a flicker, like a match in a storm. But Lorraine noticed. "Don't go getting ideas," she sneered one night. "Ain't nobody coming to save you. You'll age out like the rest. Jail, dead, that's what happens to boys like you." Her voice echoed, burned, branded itself into his brain, until one morning, everything cracked. A social worker visited. Lorraine panicked, told him to stay silent, stay hidden. But KJ walked to the door, looked the worker in the eyes, and whispered, "She locks me in the basement." Silence followed. And then, action. Fast, brutal, final. He was pulled from the house. Lorraine screamed, fought, cursed, but it was over. Or so he thought. KJ was moved to another home. This one is quieter, safer, but the fear never left. Until a sleek black car pulled up one day. A man stepped out, tall, clean, dark skin, bald, eyes like thunder. Elijah Kingston, a billionaire no one knew much about. Built a tech empire from scratch. Never smiled, never explained. But today he walked in and asked for KJ. No cameras, no press, just him, and a small file. "You know who I am?" he asked. KJ shook his head. "Good," Elijah nodded. "Means you'll listen with your heart, not your eyes." He opened the file. A photo, a young black boy, alone in a group home. "That was me, 30 years ago. They said the same things to me they said to you. But they were wrong, and so are they. I want to adopt you, KJ, if you're willing." KJ didn't trust it, couldn't. But Elijah didn't pressure him, just showed up again, and again, and again. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, KJ started to believe it was real. Elijah never yelled, never raised his hand. He listened, brought books, taught him code, took him to therapy, sat with him during nightmares. One night, KJ asked, "Why me?" Elijah paused. I looked at him hard. "Because I see who you are, and who you're going to become." Years passed. KJ grew, fast. By 13, he built a software program that used AI to detect abuse patterns in foster care systems. It caught the attention of state officials. By 15, he was on panels, conferences, media outlets. But none of that prepared him for the moment Lorraine returned. Arrested, charged, 10 foster kids came forward. Neglect, emotional abuse, financial fraud, and the DA wanted KJ to testify that he didn't hesitate. The courtroom buzzed. Lorraine entered in cuffs, wrinkled, bitter. She scanned the room, eyes locking onto the tall young man in a tailored suit. Didn't recognize him until he spoke. "My name is KJ Kingston. I was placed in Lorraine's home when I was 7. She told me I would never be loved, that I was just a check, that I was worthless. She was wrong. I am not what she said I'd be. I'm a product of resilience. I was adopted by a man who saw what she couldn't. And now, I'm here, not for revenge, but for justice." Gasps, whispers. Lorraine tried to stand. speak, beg. But the judge had heard enough. 10 years. No parole. Outside the courtroom, reporters swarmed. "How does it feel to finally be free?" they asked. KJ stood tall, calm. "I was free the moment I stopped believing her lies," he said. "This trial isn't about me. It's about the others. Still in the system. Still invisible. That ends now." He walked away. No tears. No cheers. Just silence. And then, purpose. Months later, Elijah and KJ launched the Kingston Initiative, a billion-dollar mission to overhaul foster care. National, global, tech-driven, trauma-informed. Focused on one goal: no more forgotten kids. No more invisible pain. But on KJ's 21st birthday, something unexpected arrived. A letter from prison. Lorraine. Shaky handwriting. "I don't expect forgiveness," it read. "I just hope you found the love I tried to convince you didn't exist." KJ held the letter. Read it once, then twice, then set it down, and said nothing. He never responded, because sometimes closure isn't a conversation. It's a decision. He walked outside. I looked at the city skyline, breathing deeply, calm, steady. A boy once silenced now roared without a sound, because he'd become everything they said he couldn't. He wasn't just loved. He was in love. For thousands. A living answer to every lie they fed him. They told him he'd never be wanted, never be needed, never matter. They were wrong. This is what happens when the broken rise. When justice speaks louder than pain. When the unloved become legends. This is beyond the case. And you just witnessed the reversal. Don't just watch. Remember,